Them Damn Mexicans presents TDM Talk.
All right, what's up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of TDM Talk. I am your host, David, of Them Damn Mexicans. Thank you guys. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys, as always, for the support and for tuning in. Today, we have a very special guest in the building, the one and the only Kory Rodriguez.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Thank you for, one, for hitting me up and wanting to do this, and I think that when we initially spoke, I was like very intrigued about wanting to do it, and we talked about that, because as we know, as most people will know, like we hadn't really seen you around, musically or in any kind of way, and we talked about the absence, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, definitely.
So how you been? How's everything? How's
Man,
life?
I've been good. It's been a road, but I've been walking, man. I've been hopefully to run here pretty soon, but it's been trying. But I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see you, man. It's been a minute. So
I think the last time I seen you was at the and that might have been the first time we actually met, was at the crash landing at the White Oak Music Hall show.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that night. That was one of the best shows I'd ever been to. You guys, I mean, from beginning to end, absolutely killed it. It was just the vibes was so. And then we took what I consider a legendary picture in the back.
Yeah.
I think it was myself and Latinx in front, and then the whole crash landing, crew behind. Y'all were all in the background, and I had just met. I think I only knew Chop and AB and Apollo at the time.
The infamous, yes,
Yes,
definitely.
Man, we had him on the show a while back, man, Apollo, and I still got to get the other guys in. But yeah, now I wanted to touch on that a little bit, like the whole crash landing, situation. I know it's I don't know. From what I know, I don't think it's no longer a thing.
Yeah.
A group or whatever. I don't know if it was a label or a group. What happened with that?
I think it was more so pushing to be.
Okay.
Initially it was AB and Chop.
Okay.
I kind of was the last to, come with the group.
Okay.
I can't say that we were just a group. We're more like family.
Yeah.
If anything. I consider them all my brothers. My brother is in there as well, Dope Aesthetic. Shout out to all them.
So Dope Aesthetic is your actual brother?
Yeah, Dope Aesthetic's my actual brother.
Okay, that I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Fun fact of the day.
Yeah, man, I consider all of them just family. So it was just kind of something that kind of sparked. But I mean, at the end of the day, we all kind of do our own thing.
Yeah.
Nobody really just carries us. We carry ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
I thought it was dope. I
much
thought
love
of
for
it
that,
like Wu-Tang type of thing. It was a
Everybody
group,
has their own style,
Everybody was doing their own thing, and everybody had their own. There was a guy in the group. I think it was King Alex. I heard his music and I was like, damn, that sounds nothing like what everybody else does, But then again, I hear your music, or I would hear the Dope Aesthetic, your brother, and then Chop, and everybody did have their unique style, and I was rocking with that, man. So. When I found out that I guess it was no longer a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and again, as long as everybody's still cool, I think that's the most important thing, because what we tend to have a lot is a lot of egos, a lot of beef, and people take things personal. But I think if everybody's still cool, because if everybody's featuring on each other's music, I think that's dope. 'Cause we need more of that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I believe I have each and every one of them on one of my songs, if not two. At the same time, I actually have one with King Alex, just one of them. One Day, it was on my album, my Nine Lives album. He has a very authentic style, to him, as the rest of them, and I collab with each and every one of them just differently.
Yeah.
And it just smooth. I got my people with AB. He came really hard on that one, and I really appreciated that. I also have Apollo on a few on Darkest Days, and then Echoes. Echoes was one of my favorites that I had done.
And is this something you already have, or is this on the project?
No, this is something I already have initially. Okay. Right now,
but we'll get we'll get into the thing about the project.
Yeah.
I didn't want to jump the gun, because
it's good.
She's already talking about it, and I wasn't too sure. But yeah, y'all guys put out a lot of content, a lot of music, and seeing it all come together at that event. And mind you, I had really just met even those guys not that long before that. So I was new to the whole thing. I didn't know what I didn't. I actually thought Crash Landings was Chop's thing because
Yeah.
he was just promoting it so hard.
To touch base on that, I honestly, I really just I remember it, but it's very vague, because that took place right. I want to say right after, my issue, that happened. So I was kind of like treading, real lightly, but I mean, it stumbled down, after that. But I do remember us linking up and talking and shooting the shit a little bit. But that kind of it meant something to me, and I took it and I ran with it, and I just was like, you know what, the hell with everything that's going on in my life, like this is it right here, because we did a lot of promoting, we did a lot of promoting, a lot of people showed up, they showed so much love to us,
Yeah, it was crazy.
and it was just crazy, you know what I'm saying? And then from then on, like every show that's happened at the White Oak, it's just been, it's just better and better, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, shout out to them too, White Oak for that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we kind of had like a conversation, we all sat down or whatever, and we talked, and we just all agreed, here's Chop doing this, and here's AB doing this, and we would always talk, we would text and hit each other up, but it was never nothing like on no bad nothing, and honestly, and
That's good though, because most times things don't necessarily end that way.
yeah, no, it was just all respect,
And I
at
think
the end of the
you
day.
said that. I think I love what you said, that you guys talk like, so there was actual communication, because there's a lot of grown people that don't know how to actually properly communicate.
Yeah.
And get what they want. Say what they want to say. So instead, they act in a in a way that can come off as deceiving or as backstabbing, because it's like, yo, instead of, man, we could have really just had this conversation. We really could have just chopped it up
Yeah.
and talked about it. And then now it's like, nah, now you did some shady shit or whatever, But I'm glad that it's all love, and but it's great to see that everybody's still pushing. Everybody still got their own movement. Everybody's still doing their own thing.
Yeah.
We discussed the your absence from the game of the the hip hop game.
Yeah.
We want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, not to like really just go into detail, but I mean, it's just mental health is real, and I had to really back up, from everything to try to get myself together, and I talk a lot about it in my upcoming album. I'm gonna be dropping that real soon. So to touch base and kind of go back and forth on it, whenever Crash Landing, we all had spoke, it was around that same time. So it kind of caught me off guard because I was in my own world, and we chopped it up, but at the same time, the respect came in because I had backed up, and it wasn't for any reason, to them, but it was for myself. I needed to do that. And all the while doing that, things happened, I caught 2 cases, and I'm still fighting them. So that's why I've really just, with my lawyer and everything, just kind of like, hey, don't be on here, kind of take some time from this, so it just all tied in together, but I mean, if to go on a deeper level, I don't mind. I talk about it in my music, as far as mental health and all that, my drug abuse was real bad, so it took me away from everything, on top of everything else. And, 7 months now, I'm just kind of like, I ain't done nothing. I've steered away from that because it took a toll on me, man. It
It's
really
like they
did.
say, when it rains, it pours,
Yeah,
right?
it did.
Like it's just one thing after another that just kind of always
Yeah.
this happens, now this happens, and then it's like, oh shit, like when does it actually stop? Because you can only take so much because it just keeps piling on. It seems like the world is caving in on you, and I hate to hear that, but I am glad and grateful that we're able to sit down today and now talk about, hey, I went through it, I got through it, and maybe not completely, but a
Yeah.
lot of times we always say, man, we got to push through these situations sometimes, because a lot of times they linger on, but we don't necessarily stay there. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we get stuck and we just shut down and we just say, fuck it, I don't care about nothing right now. Um, and then sometimes, man, we just push through it. Because I had a similar situation a couple years ago where I lost my brother-in-law. Things were just going just wrong in almost any
Left.
kind of way
Yeah.
possible. At least you would think. But a good friend of mine would always tell me, man, you can't stop. You got to keep pushing. And I always took that advice. So for 3 years, I've done nothing but keep grinding, no matter what happened. When we first started TDM Talk, it was a group of us. Now it's just myself.
Yeah.
And that happens though. I mean, some people are meant to be there for a season, and then they're gone. And what you learn from that. But yeah, so I'm just glad and grateful, like I said, that you're still able to be here and to talk about that. And just give us a brief insight on, because I'm sure people were wondering, like, man, I'm sure when people see this, they're gonna be like, oh, damn, what? Because that does happen, with so many artists out there. People are like, they'll forget about you if you're gone for so long. They're like, man, what? Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot, whatever happened to, whatever happened to him or to her, and it's like, okay, now coming back with a vengeance, it's like,
And I don't blame people. I get it, because if it was turned around,
yeah,
I would do the same. But at the end of the day, I'm a very authentic artist. I don't write and I don't say things that I ain't ever been through. I come from a very, very traumatic, deep past, man, and it's just like my music is my escape. It's really helped me to be that human journal that I need to be, to just be better, every day, because people go through things and they don't talk about them, man, and
just bottling it in.
they
They bottle it
mask
in.
it. Yeah, they mask it, and I've been that person, and I just can't do it anymore. I'm not gonna personally, where I stand today, I'm not gonna get high or drunk or bury my sorrows behind somebody or something, anymore, because I've done that too long, and I did 8 years in the penitentiary, man. You would think, like, what the hell? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But to just, lose everything that I worked hard for when I got out, it was just mind blowing to me. And now to gain all that back times 10, it's like I'm gonna keep that, and I just want to be that artist to help those people that go through similar things that I go through, man, and just let them know, like, y'all ain't alone. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to be that to somebody. I'm not chasing fame. I'm not chasing anything other than to help somebody else. If it's just one person out of a million, man, it's all I care about. At the end of the day, because it helps me.
Yeah.
That's what helps me. You feel me? So, you know, something happened, and it was September. It was last September. So it's been about 15 months. I'm still dealing with it, but I'm a lot better than where I was. And to Chop, to Apollo, to AB, to my brother Dope Aesthetic, to Alex, to all of them, man. Like, they've all had their toe with me when it comes to that, and they all know, and they were all there in different aspects. You know what I'm saying? And I have so much love for each and every one of them, and also, shout out to Papo, man, him as well. They've always just,
That's a good dude right there.
yeah, man. Anytime I call, like, it's just, they there. You know, they're there.
And
And
he called me the wrong name in the interview with Latinx. It's all right. He's like, yeah, shout out to Daniel. And I was like, who the hell is Daniel? I said, well, you talking about Latin? I don't want to put my boy's
man,
government out there.
he's
but,
a character, man, and he's
said,
just
I said, bro, you're good. I was really just fucking.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just so saying talking about what we're just going off of that.
Yeah.
I heard the song with Mac Young.
Yeah.
Real, right?
Yeah, real life.
Real life
Yeah.
with Mac Young. Dope track. I was gonna say I could hear the pain coming from the music. Like you call me crazy or whatever you want, but like I almost love that type of music because it's the most authentic to me because
Yeah.
I can hear the pain or I can hear the passion behind what's actually being said. So talk about a little bit about that song, like how that came about and the thought process behind it.
Okay. Mac Young, he's another one, man. He's another one. Just so much respect for him. You know what I'm saying? And what he's doing and what he's doing with his life and where he's come from. You know, him and I, we share, you know, we both been incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't hide that. So, you know, I'm okay with saying that. You know, I just felt like he was the perfect one to put on that track. I actually wrote that song, well, a few bars when I was incarcerated, and then I've held on to it. And you know, going through the things that I've gone through since I've been home since 2018, you know, I've added, taken away, and just one day I just wrote to it, and I was like, this is it, you know. And I asked him, hey, you want to feature on it? He didn't hesitate, tell me no or nothing. He was like, yeah, I got you. So it just went from there. And personally, it's my opinion, he doesn't have anything out like that. You know, how he came on that track, you know, so it's very genuine, it's special to me. And it'll be on my album. So man, it just really talks about, you know, where I was when I was in there, man, and the shit that I went through, you know, because even, you know, and to be honest, incarcerated, man, it was like a peace I've never had. And people be like,
and I, you know,
they be like, what the hell? I'd be like, yeah,
I've heard that a lot.
It's true.
I think Pimp C said the same
yeah,
thing.
man, it's a peace that can nobody take from you. And I ain't had that since, you know. But you know, I still hear things, and I talk about it, and I still hear things, you know, in my mail and the phone calls, and you know, I be telling my mom like, why you ain't tell me that? She be like, I don't want to worry you. And I said, you not telling me is just it's backwards. You doing things half-assed, you know. You got to let me know, you know. So I would still hear about things out here, and yeah, sure enough, man, life goes on. It don't stop. It don't stop for nobody. And even when you're really at your lowest, man, it's like you hear it, man. You hear it right now. Everything's just going. Yeah. So you just got to take it with a grain of salt and keep it pushing, you know.
That's why we talk about, like, when I mentioned earlier about, like, you know, people go through shit. What are you going to do? You just going to stop and quit, or you going to keep going? It's going to hurt either way. So why not just keep pushing, you know? I think I heard the phrase, you know, if you're going through hell, why stop?
Yeah.
Go through it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Get through it. Why would you just stop while you're in hell? Like,
yeah.
And that just, you know, brought back so many memories because everybody, I don't care what nobody say. Everybody goes through that time in their life where nothing really matters. They go through either whether it's a bad breakup, a divorce, a death, you know, loss of a job, whatever.
Yeah.
There is always something that would make someone want to stop and quit and give up what they're doing.
Yeah,
what
man.
They're passionate about.
Honestly, I was there. Like I seriously was there. I was just the worst of the worst that you could possibly do to yourself, you know. I was at that point, so I can relate, man. I touch it. Okay. I really do.
So the new project, what's the title of it? When does it come out, or is that
Oh man, I'm shooting for the end of this month.
I remember when you first told me about it, I said, "Oh, I can't wait to hear this."
Yeah,
because because that I always say, like, when people take time off and then they come back, I think like that's when they do their best work because they you know they done went through some shit and they're like, okay, now I'm about to really drop some dope shit because now you got all this time where you had to sit back and think about how you want to approach a project, you know. So, but anyway, go ahead.
Personally, once that album does drop, I'm not leaving again because I feel that us as humans, we go through things and it's either we take from it or we continue to go put ourselves through those certain situations and we don't learn nothing from it. So we keep falling short. Me
I
on
love
the
how you, and not to cut you off, but I love how you said that, how we put ourselves through a lot of those
we
situations.
do.
A lot of times we're so quick to blame him, her, and them,
Yeah, definitely.
but we don't ever look at us and be like, well, shit, I'm the one. I put myself through that. Like, I'm not. I knew getting with this person was the wrong thing to do, and I
Yeah.
still did it anyway because I thought it would be fun, it'd be cool. Nah, I knew I in the back of my mind I knew that was the wrong decision, and I did it anyway.
Yeah.
So now that the consequences come, now it's like, oh man, well it's so and so's fault, or nah, we do shit to ourselves most of the time.
Yeah, we do. And it all ties in, when I was locked up, man, I learned so much about myself that I didn't know. I wasn't taught growing up as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So something somebody had told me is very valuable to this day, because one day she was like, why you keep lying to yourself? You keep lying to everybody because you keep lying to yourself. And whenever she said that, I was like, that's real. That's real.
I always say we're you,
That's
you know
real.
who lies to us the most? Us.
Us.
We
We
lie to
do.
ourselves more than anybody in our lives.
Yeah. So it goes to
I'm lying right now.
it goes to like I could sit here all day and say, well, you did this and you did that. But at the end of the day, what part did I take into that? Because
Where's the accountability? Where's the
yeah,
responsibility?
I could do that all day. It's easy to put the blame on somebody else. But once I start saying, okay, that's my bad. Because if I can say my part in it, I'm growing, man. I'm growing. And to keep it real with my situation, that occurred, like I was like, okay, well, this happened. Well, she did this and she did that or this, and it was just like, hold on a second, where did I go wrong in that? Because once I did that, man, I was able to crawl, man, and I was able to get the hell up out that hole and was like, all right. And it's still, there's things I still struggle with today, but I'm not where I used to be, man. I'm not,
And that's the most important part.
I'm not.
Is to always continue to progress in life. Sometimes you do got to take two steps back to take that one forward again.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's to reevaluate the situation. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on, let me backtrack a little bit and get my shit together.
yeah,
That way I can take the necessary steps to further evolve and to get better.
yeah, definitely.
Because if not, we're just running around in a circle and doing the same
That's
shit all the
it.
time.
And I
going
talk
fucking
about
crazy.
that, chasing the tail, man. It's like, I don't know, but this album, it's been a long time coming. It's been since I've my absence. You
What's the
know,
title? We have one yet?
I'm I'm hanging on to three, and you know,
Okay, you ain't
I'm
gotta give one.
yeah,
Okay.
man.
I'm working on the album right now, and I might steal one. Now,
Yeah, but just know it's gonna be
yeah. It'll come to you.
yeah, definitely.
And once it does, you'll be like, "Yep, that was it."
That was it. And like I said, when we first started talking, like if it ain't, you got to think about it. It's not the right time. So,
What can people expect from this? Like when they listen to it from beginning to end, when they finish listening to this album, what do you want the people to get out of it or get from it?
why I left,
Why you left?
why I left.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with anybody. But I was that person to where I was like, why? How come? And to be that person on that side of the fence, I understand now. It's real. It's
Self
real.
awareness is not something that everybody has because, like, although we have, well, I think everybody has it. They just not choose not to use it
Yeah.
because that means you taking on accountability for your actions and being like, you know what, this is where I messed up at, and this is where I went wrong or where I maybe could have done things different. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all gonna make mistakes. It's how you overcome those mistakes. It's what you do after
Yeah.
that defines you and will define you. Because again, we can mess up 100 times. What are you gonna do though? Are you gonna just stop or so I like how you said that. I was like, what did I do, or what was wrong, or why I left? Not because, and like you said, it wasn't because of anybody. It was just what you were going through, or what you
Yeah.
put yourself through.
I had to, man. I had to get myself together because if I don't do that, man, I ain't no good for nobody. And I just I was just at the lowest of the lowest to where the worst you could possibly be in. And when I'm stuck, by myself and trying to mask my pain when I just needed to just stop and really get through it with a sober mind, and now it's like there's nothing in me that would make me want to go back to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even drink alcohol, and I'm not going to say that I never will, but I'm on a tight I'm out on I'm on a tight knit right now. There's nothing I can do to do that, but honestly, I've went to functions and I've been out, to where they are drinking and they are drunk, and it's like part of me is like, I really want to, and I'll take a sip here and there, but it's like, is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? So I just don't do it, and I just tell myself like, just get through this day. That's it. So, but the album really just talks a lot about what I was going through.
Yeah.
It really does, and
I'm sure there'll be many who can listen to it and will be able to relate and be like, damn, like I went through something similar to that situation.
well, and a lot of people can relate because, I mean, I go on TikTok and I see so much stuff with, mental health and drug abuse and relationship problems, and it's like, I know it's very relatable, but at the end of the day, it's like more than half of the world is going through this stuff, and it's like,
It's more now than ever because I've worked. I worked 14 years in a juvenile facility where they were locked up, jailed, I guess. And I would see how much medication a lot of these kids will take, and it's not even just street drugs. Now you got the doctors prescribing them anything and everything. So these guys are taking 8, 9 pills at a time.
yeah.
And how do you expect them to cope with that kind of stuff when they're constantly being drugged up just to get them to calm down?
It's
Or
because
just
they don't know no better, man.
yeah,
Nobody takes the time to sit there and say, hey, there's another way to go through this, or they don't need that. But it can go on and on and on. It's like politics,
oh yeah,
seriously. But I mean, to say what I was really gonna say about what everybody be going through. It's like you can't trust nobody these days. Somebody's always doing some shady shit or some betrayal, and it's just like it talks about that too, and just to just relate on all that. And it's really sad the way the world is today, man. So it's just like I just get up, do what I gotta do, and keep it pushing.
I like how you said earlier how you were hoping to even if it's change one life
Yeah,
or make an impact at least. Not necessarily change, but of course change is great. But if you can just impact in a positive way somebody else's life, like I take great pride in what I do. Like I've coached youth sports for the last 15, 16 years. And I always get joy. I'm one of those coaches that, man, if you don't know how to play, man, come on, I will show you.
yeah, definitely.
And there's a lot of coaches today that don't do that. And I'm gonna say this: if you're a coach that's watching and you don't do that, it's because you can't do it. Just say that,
Yeah,
you know, because they want kids that are already ready to, ready to go, and they're little.
but not
studs
everybody is
already.
ready, man. They ain't even crawling yet.
At some point, you got to develop. You got to, and I'll never forget one story. We were out playing. This was when my son was in high school. I think it might have been his sophomore year or junior year. We had a kid never played before, and at high school level, playing baseball or softball is hard because, man, that's a sport you got to play almost when you were young. You can't just pick up and just start. Oh, I can swing a bat now all of a sudden and hit a
Yeah.
ball because it takes a lot of time. This kid couldn't catch, do anything. So anyway, we're in the game. I put him in the outfield. They hit a pop fly. It had to been about a mile long, right up. Man, he caught it and he hit the face, his face, the smile on his face when he caught it. He caught it and then brought it down and looked and was like, "Oh, I caught." He was.
Yeah.
I think we even heard him say, "Oh shit, I caught it."
Yeah.
And the umpire ran out there and because he knew the kid, he didn't know him, but he knew that you could tell he had never played before. So he goes, I went out there to make sure he knew he caught it. And I said, man, that kid never played before. That's his first actual catch in a real game. That meant everything to that kid.
Yeah, it's memorable.
Yeah,
Very memorable
and,
moment.
and it's things like that that will forever live with me, and because something like that made that boy's day, week, month, whatever. The whole team was celebrating that he had caught it, and
Yeah, that's what's up.
it was cool, man. And it's a ton of stories that I've had like that, but I mean that's the one that stands out to me the most because, like we talked about making an impact, and man, fuck the industry, fuck the music, fuck everything. Real life. What's your real life like? Like you said, you don't like to rap about things that you don't do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that.
And I don't knock anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I don't do. I mean, much, hey, that's what you like to do. That's cool. But I've tried. I'm honest to God. I've tried to sit there and be like, all right, let me hop on this beat.
So if I ask you, hey, make me a record about, I don't know, living in Mexico, like
there's no way, man. It's just impossible for me. Somebody, hey, that's talent, but at the end of the day, I'm a realist. I'm gonna keep it as real as I can possibly keep it, man. Because at the end of the day, that's what I want in return. And I've gone through so much shit that it's just like I don't need no fake shit around me. I don't even know how to be like that. Sometimes I be trying to
Especially when
think.
you're not like that. You don't
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't rock that way, man. And I'm just keeping it 100 about that. But
man, I'm glad we were able to sit down.
Yeah, definitely.
We got on some deep shit, and it doesn't necessarily have to ever always revolve around music. Like when we started this TDM talk, it was to focus more on actual real life conversation. We kind of got away from that and kind of got into the music, kind of thing, and but I'm glad we were able to talk about like some real shit, and then so aside from the album, what's next? Do we have any shows coming lined up, or do we have any like what's next for you?
I mean, if something comes my way, right now it's like I work. I work out of town pretty much, so I'm up at 4. I don't get home to 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes. I'm finna have some time off though with the holidays coming up. So if anything comes to me and I got the time, like I'm more than willing, because at the end of the day, again, I do this because it helps me to help somebody else. That's really what it's all about to me. If something sparks off that, hey, let's do it. So with shows or anything, if anything comes my way, but like I said, I'm really hard to reach, if you don't have my number, because I'm not really on social media like that because, again, my cases and stuff. So I got to respect that. And I hope that everybody who, fucks with me on that level really understands, because I can't be put in no situation like that right now. So with it being open and everything, so I mean, if anything comes my way, like I'm down with it, I know the guys, they reach out to me and they have, and I hate to not attend. I know AB had his album released, I believe, a couple months back. I could not make that, man, and I know he wanted me to be there, and I think Chop was doing something too, and I had planned, man, and
it's hard keeping up with them. They're like,
can't make it, man.
Like, hey, what you doing next week? I'm in Africa performing. Like what? Like how? Like what can I?
Man.
Nah, I think that like they're really some dope guys. Man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to meet with them, which then in turn led me to meet you and the rest of the crew, the rest of the guys there. So and it's been nothing but love. When Apollo and I sat down for our interview, we talked about the like the absence thing, like taking that absence and then like
Yeah.
having to come back, and you almost said exactly what he said about. Yeah, it's like when you come back, you damn near got to double up because
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
so far behind. You feel like that at least because people are cranking out music every day. You
Yeah,
know.
but then it goes to like this. If you really fuck with me, and this can go for anybody, if you really fuck with somebody,
Yeah.
hey, you'll take that and understand, and you keep fucking with me, or you don't have to, you know, and I respect that no matter what.
It's like respect.
Yeah,
You know, respect when I do take my time to be alone or my time.
yeah. So I had to do it for myself, you know, and it wasn't something that I wanted. It was just something that is just what life threw at me, and I had to take it and run with it, you know. And I've grown from that, and I know, you know, and I don't knock anybody's beliefs, you know, but I feel like, you know, God puts things in people's place, you know, to strengthen them, and this was one of them, you know, because I could feel like, man, I'm strong, I can face anything, you know, because when the way I treated that at that time was just like it was nothing. But at the end of the day, you know, she she was a very she is a very positive, and she's an amazing person,
Yeah.
you know, but it was just something that, you know, had to happen for us to be where we are today, you know, and she's my wife, you know. At the end of the day, you know, I got a lot of love for her. I really do, and respect. But, you know, at the time, you don't sit there and think like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that person can be everything in the book. But at the end of the day, it's like, when you really back up, you're like, hold on a second. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I understand.
For sure.
You know, so to go back to what you were saying, you know, and to double up, you know, I mean, yeah, it's true. But just to keep it 100, like, if you fuck with me, you fuck with me. If you don't, you don't. And if you don't, you choose not to. Hey, you know, I respect that, and
Yeah.
ain't no bad blood, no bad nothing. You know, so
So to anybody who would be watching this and is going through what something similar to what you went through or going through, what would be a piece of advice you would give to him, or you would say to him right now? You know, you look in the camera and be like, "Hey, look, I'm talking to you. If you going through this X Y Z, you know, however you want to explain it or describe it, whatever piece of advice you want to give to anybody that's watching this and may be going through what you're going through."
well, for starters, if it's worth it, then stick with it and don't give up. If you feel like it's not, then just let it go. It's either it is or it ain't. I'm not a gray area type of person, and if you feel like it's worth holding on to, then hold on to it. If you don't, just let it go. You know, and if you don't feel like you're strong enough to continue with it, same thing, let it go. And it's hard because people say all the time, let it go. It's not that easy, you know. And there's been many times where I've wanted to let things go, you know, even my drug addiction. I just wasn't in that state of mind at the time. So, you know, now I can say that I've let it go, you know, and I'm, you know, if something, a death or something traumatic was to happen, you know, I used to say, I don't know, you know. Now I can say I won't, because I know that, you know, God's delivered me from that. Because if you're at a point where you just, and I'm gonna be real about it, if you just don't want to be here anymore because you just can't take it.
Yeah.
Again, mental health is real.
Yeah.
So with me being at that point in my life where I was just like, I didn't care whether I was here or not, you know, that's deep for me. And that's enough to where nothing or no one is worth that, you know. And if I was to tell anybody that, if it takes you to that point in your life to where you feel like you just don't want to be here, you need to think again, because the world will go on. You know what I'm saying? It's your life.
Yeah.
You know, so when I realized that and I thought about it, and I was like, you know, when I totaled my truck, back in March, I fell asleep on the road. I was 2 minutes from my house,
Oh wow.
and I had been up. And I will say January to March was the worst months for me. And when I totaled my truck, I walked away with nothing, man. Like maybe a few bruises, scrapes, that was it.
Yeah.
And I was still in that mind frame. In my mind, I was like, why? But not why, like, what happened? Or why did I was like, why? Why am I still here? Type. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like I was still in that mind frame, like, I still want to get high. And it was so crazy to me, you know, and at that point it just dawned on me like, nah, you know. So if things take anybody to that point where they feel like that, man, you got to think. You got to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So
hitting on some real like real life deep, topics that I think aren't talked about as much because like you said, people do wanna
and a lot of people want to.
yeah, they just don't know how to or
Exactly.
who they can actually confide in because, like
Yeah.
you said, they don't really just trust anybody to tell that to. Because
Yeah.
I might tell it to you, and you go run and tell somebody. Next thing you know,
Or they're ashamed. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I'm not there. I'm not that. You know, I'm not. I mean, you name it, man. I'm probably gonna say, yeah, I've been through that. You know, but my music, and to touch base on this and why you do this is music.
yeah,
You know, but at the end of the day, everybody has their story. You know, I do this. You know, and I started out doing this when I was real young. You know, I was that kid writing poems. You know, and then I realized, you know, damn, you know, I can put this into another perspective, you know what I'm saying, and just turn it up a notch. And that's what I did.
for sure.
And it's been on since then. You know, when I was in prison, I met a few people that, you know, had been in the industry, been in the studio, wrote, whatever. And I would keep contact with my brother, and he'd be like, hey, I'm in the studio with this, or hey, I'm doing this. So when I finally got out, that was my first time I ever really just touched the mic, you know, on that level. But a lot of my stuff that I have out now was stuff that I had wrote in there and just kind of just play with it, toss and turn, you know, with like real life. You know, a little bit was from then, you know, and I just put it in a whole nother retrospect on this. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I'm happy to be here, and I look back on my life and this past year, I'm just like grateful I didn't go that route, you know, of
Yeah,
you know, because life is good, and it's what you make of it, and it's all up to you, you
because
know.
life is short, man.
And we're gonna go through things, you know what I'm
You
saying?
going
So
to, you going
going
to.
to it, it's just how we get through it, you
Well,
know.
man, I want to, somewhat end with one thanking you for allowing us to give you the voice to be able to speak about these things.
Yeah,
We could have
definitely
easily
appreciate
made
that.
it about the music and about the industry, but it's like, that can get tired. That can
I
get
mean, it
old.
ties in. It ties
But
in,
when it
definitely.
ties in, it makes it even better
Yeah,
because it tells a better story.
yeah,
Um, so again, I just want to thank you for stopping by and hanging out and just chopping it up, man. We
definitely.
call it TDM talk, 'cause we really just kind of sit and talk as
Damn,
opposed to
damn
it being
Mexicans, boy.
damn Mexicans, man.
Yeah.
Any before we head out, man. Any last minute shout outs?
Um, man, for one, shout out to you. Shout out to J Vaz. Shout out to Latinx, man. Shout out to all you
Yeah,
guys just doing the damn thing. You know, I ain't on social media, man, but I sure be on YouTube, man. I be following up and seeing you guys, you know, in the movement. You know, much respect to that. All the artists, you know what I'm saying, that take the time out to really just self evaluate. Hey, man, much love on that. You need to sometimes. Just shout out to everybody who's doing it, you know, who still gets up every day and keeps it pushing, you know, and just keep doing it, you know, don't stop. Stop for no one.
yeah. There it is, man. Man, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of TDM Talk. We want to appreciate, our guest today for stopping by and just giving us the real and talking about some real life issues, man. I hope you get something out of it. We're definitely gonna, make get some
Yeah, for
clips,
sure.
some shorts, and definitely, we can get people to see this, you know, because I think it's something that people need to hear. So again, man, make sure you guys like, comment,
Definitely.
share, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. And we'll put the description so you can follow her on all her platforms in the description. Make sure you go tap in with her and what she's got going on. That way, when the album drops, you'll know and you'll be one of the first ones to see that. And again, man, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of TDM Talk. We are them Mexicans.